The Tangipahoa River flows from Osaka, Mississippi to Lake Pontchartrain, the southeastern part of Louisiana. There's a rich history of Indian tribes in that part of Louisiana, and the river is named after a word used by an Indian tribe called the Oklapisa, or those people who look out for people. Tangipahoa means those who gather corn, and it means ear of corn. They settled around Lake Pontchartrain about 1702, having some 1,500 people and 200 warriors. Pottery shards and other items are continuously found while walking the lakeshore, especially the northwestern bank and whenever digging. From Tent's Landing, where the boats are put in, to the spot where our camp was, includes canals and inlets. Going towards the lake and on the left, there's the Rice Fields Canal. Then Bateau Creek. Next is P. Rand's Point, where the game warden's camp was. This inlet was also called the Cowpens Canal and Barge Canal. The last inlet on the left was the Little Shell Hole, or pond. On one side of Bateau Creek and on the right was Uncle Billy's camp. Next to the camp was a canal that went deep into the swamps, as most of them did. Then there's the Big Shell Hole, actually smaller than the Little Shell Hole. And inside the Big Shell Hole is Middle Bayou, and was accessible once entering into the Big Shell Hole or pond. This bayou canal went deep into the swamp also. Finally, there's Jerry King Canal, and Lake Pontchartrain itself is visible from this point. And this would fork, and each fork would go deep into the swamps. The swamps are mostly called the hurricanes, and so many of these storms fell trees and shaped the shorelines and swamps continuously. Our place was the last on the left-hand side of the river as it opened up into Lake Pontchartrain. Of course, the family had a place in Baton Rouge, and it was on the Tangipahoa River that I spent a wonderful amount of time from infancy until I became a young man. The alligator gar is a ray-fin fish related to the bowfin, and are one of the largest freshwater fish in North America. They've hardly changed in 100 million years, and they look like it. Their digestive system is like that of a shark, and they can breathe air and water. An adult matures at some 6 feet in length, weighing close to 100 pounds, and is probably about 50 years old by that time. The alligator gar can get up to 10 feet and weigh some 450 pounds. And just as a side note, the 6-foot alligator gar has an eyeball just about the size of a mature human. The body's like a torpedo with olive or brown colors, fading to a gray or yellow gold. The scales are bone-like and serrated. The scales have an inner layer of bone and an outer layer of ganoid, making them like tooth enamel and almost impenetrable. We'd have to clean the larger ones with a sledgehammer, chisel, and a hatchet and a saw before starting the filleting part. That meat is a lean, succulent, pearly white, which is delicious over a bed of Cajun rice and covered with a Roux, or a red gravy. Alligator gar are voracious predators, feeding during the day and night. The jaws are lined with long, sharp teeth, some even clear and needle-like, and the upper jaw has 2 rows of teeth. Alligator gar typically eat the kind of fish we would want, either for bait or for a good old fry. They also eat animals on the surface, such as snakes, frogs, small mammals, lizards, birds, and the like. An odd thing is that adult gar eat smaller alligators and adult alligators eat smaller gar. The way they hunt is to troll, and you can see them slowly moving beneath the surface from spot to spot. The larger ones will break through the surface, following the fish they've stirred up below, and then come down on them while taking in air, sort of like the way whales do. The largest one caught was 8 feet and 5 inches, 327 pounds, with a girth of 47 inches. That's in the same water that we're skiing and swimming in. And I've had big ones roll in front of me while swimming just feet away. They have very little fear. Now, one of the funnest things I saw on the river was a gar rodeo. Just like you have a bass or a tarpon rodeo and the like, on the Tangipahoa, there was a gar rodeo too. What I learned from the guys fishing was how to catch big ones. Jug fishing. The first thing you need is an empty 1-gallon milk jug. Epoxy the cap on real good, making it air and watertight, then spray paint your initials on it. The next thing you'll need is 12 foot of speaker wire. After that, you'll need a 2-foot steel leader. You'll also need a coat hanger. You're going to need a number 1 or a number 2 size hook. Remember, these things are just becoming adults at 6 feet and weighing some 100 pounds. You'll also need a carbine size rifle or a pistol delivering foot-pounds. I used a Ruger Mini 14 with a 30-round magazine. And there was no national panic over guns in those days, so we all used our guns freely and responsibly, as we were hunters and conservationists as well. Now, many a fella used a 30-30 or a good pistol, 357, series of 9mm type pistols, things like that. Now, this is the assembly for jug fishing, and you want your jugs in the water early in the morning. So you put the fish hook on the steel leader, straighten out the coat hanger, attach the leader to the coat hanger opposite the hook end. Then you want to try to catch a bass about a pound or so and keep it alive and frisky. Gently run the coat hanger and leader through the live fish until the hook sets into its middle. Gently pull the hanger with the leader out of the live fish and detach the hanger, leaving the hook inside the fish. Place your baited fish in water. Baited means the fish has a hook in it, but keeping it alive. Then attach the steel leader to the speaker wire. Then attach the speaker wire to your jug. Now get in your Bateau or your boat and go to where the river feeds into Lake Pontchartrain and drop your jug or jugs. And you're going to do this over the channel, which is about 13 feet deep. Now remember, this is a rodeo, and some guys would have several jugs out at once. That's why you want to have initials on yours.